If you think delegation means stepping back and letting people get on with it, you could be making one of the biggest leadership mistakes. Because there is a fine line between empowering your team and abandoning them. In fact, some of the most independent teams I've seen had managers who were constantly visible. In this video, I'll explain why and show you that the opposite of micromanagement isn't absence, it's intentional presence. Hello and welcome to my channel Cat Talks Business. As a management graduate with almost 10 years experience, I share practical insights and structured thinking about management and leadership. If you like this type of content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you find this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And now let's get straight into today's video. Here's something I've noticed. Some managers think good delegation means giving someone a task and then staying completely out of it, almost as if checking in or offering support somehow means they failed to delegate. But you should remember that the quality of your delegation isn't measured by how little you're involved. It is measured by how well your team succeeds without unnecessary intervention. In my experience, the best managers are still involved, not in the work itself, but in creating the conditions for success. They make sure people understand what the outcome should be, they agree when they will catch up, and they make it clear the support is there if it's genuinely needed. And that is very different from checking on people every hour. It's about being available without getting in the way. Because people grow fastest when they have the freedom to act and the support to recover if things don't go perfectly. Interestingly, research describes something very similar. It talks about autonomy supportive leadership, where managers encourage people to take autonomy while continuing to provide support and guidance. This concept is defined as a cluster of supervisory behaviors, including acknowledging employees' perspective, encouraging self-initiation, providing opportunities for choice, and communicating in a supportive rather than controlling way. To me, that's exactly what good delegation looks like. You stop being the person doing the work and start being the person helping others succeed. One of the biggest myths of management is that if you are visible, you're micromanaging. I don't think that's true at all. Some of the strongest managers I worked with were highly visible. They walked around, asked questions, spoke to people, and knew exactly what was happening in their teams. But they didn't interfere. They weren't looking for mistakes or taking work back. They were simply present. In other words, they were available when their presence genuinely added value, not the feeling that they need to be involved in every decision. And that presence mattered. People raised issues earlier. They asked for advice before small problems became big ones and felt that someone genuinely cared about the work they were doing. To me, visibility is not about control. It's about connection. And you can be close to your team without standing over their shoulder. Let's look at it from the employee's perspective. You've been given a task, your manager disappears for 2 weeks, and you hit a problem halfway through. Do you carry on, hoping you're making the right decision? Do you stop and wait? Or do you spend half of the day worrying about getting it wrong? I've seen all three. And as a manager, that's not the environment you should be trying to create. Instead, you want people to make decisions with confidence, not spend their time waiting, hesitating, or second-guessing themselves. People often think independence comes from being left alone. In reality, confidence comes from knowledge, skills, and experience, but also from knowing the support is there if it's genuinely needed. That's why too much distance can actually slow a team down. Instead of moving forward with confidence, people start looking for certainty before taking action. Every decision takes a little longer, and that hesitation builds across the whole team. People aren't avoiding responsibility. They are trying to avoid making a mistake they think nobody will support. Let's make it clear. Leadership is not about doing less. It's about doing different things. Early in your management career, you're paid for your expertise. As a senior manager, you're paid for your judgment. Your job isn't to solve every problem anymore. If every answer has to come from you, your team will never develop the confidence to deal with challenges on their own. So your priority is no longer solving the issues yourself. It's to help other people solve them. Sometimes it's asking a question instead of giving an answer. Sometimes it's removing obstacle instead of taking over. And sometimes it's simply trusting someone to learn through experience. That's where real leadership starts. This is the transition many managers struggle with. Early in your career, success is measured by what you can achieve yourself. As a leader, success is increasingly measured by what your team can achieve because of the way you've developed them. The real value of the leader is seen not when the team depends on you, but when they grow because of you. If I asked 10 managers what empowerment means, I would probably get 10 different answers. But one definition I hear quite often is leave people alone and let them get on with it. I think that's missing something important. Many people confuse freedom with empowerment, but they are not the same thing. Freedom simply removes restrictions. Empowerment develops when people gain the confidence and judgment to use that freedom effectively. The strongest teams I've seen never felt abandoned. They knew what was expected, they knew where the boundaries were, and they knew if something went wrong, the manager would be there to help, not to blame. Modern research shows that autonomy supportive leadership isn't about stepping away from people. And maybe that's why modern managers don't choose between micromanaging and disappearing. They stay in a way that gives people the confidence to stand on their own. So, to become the best version of yourself as a manager, be intentionally present.